Hey, YouTube. So yesterday, I think it was yesterday, I wrote this, or not, excuse me, I didn't write. I showed YouTube my video vlog about my prediction about the internet. And before I go on to this today's video vlog, I just want to say that I hope I'm wrong. I do. I hope I'm wrong about the internet because I enjoy it. Like, it's summertime in Florida. It's June, it's the middle of June, it's hot out there. When it rains, it pours, and when it's hot, it's so hot, well, most people are hiding in their air conditioned cars or their air conditioned, housing units. So yeah, there's people at the beach. Yesterday, I grabbed a cheeseburger and I went to a little beach not too far from here just to see if there's people. There was people hanging out at the beach. Some of them are just sunbathing and swimming, and some of them are on their jet skis and their boats. There's people enjoying summer the way you think about enjoying summer. I'm not one of them. First of all, I don't have a boat or a jet ski. Second of all, I don't have the money to go enjoy a typical beach. I mean, I could find a beach that doesn't cost money somewhere, but it's a hassle. If it's not the money, it's a hassle. And I get hot very quickly. I'm as a smoker. I If I get overheated, I'm like a car. I just shut down and I have trouble breathing. I don't have my asthma pumps because I don't have a doctor, which is something I'm going to get into about about life and medical situations. Um, but I mean, I was basically talking about money and food and Christianity and American politics. And I mean, I was thinking about everything. I was just thinking about life in general and just how we deal with things on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, yearly basis, whatever. And some people say, live for the day. We're always living for the day. I mean, that's what I try to tell people. Like, you don't have to, you know, like carpe diem, that doesn't have to mean like, sell everything you own and, wear hippie clothes and preach the gospel. Look, Jesus did that. He already got his disciples 2,000 years ago, and yes, the disciples and the apostles and all the people who follow the creed of Jesus and the good book, they are still always fishing for new believers, or to reel back in their old sheep that may have gotten lost along the way. And the pastors and the preachers and the priests, they're always trying to keep their sheep inside the church and protect them. And they have a hard job. But I mean, that's not my job. I'm just a Christian. I'm not Jesus, and I'm just a Christian, and I'm just trying to survive and live and enjoy this life as long as I have it. So I don't have to like make carpe diem this big to do. Like, it's, oh my God, it could be my last day. It could be. And then again, it might not be. You don't know. Every night that I go to sleep, I know it's possible that I might not wake up. We're going to a funeral on the 22nd about a girl who didn't wake up. She didn't wake up to see her 30th birthday. And that could happen. I knew that could happen to anyone. And it's tragic because, you say, well, why did I get to live? I have like survivor's remorse. Like, why did I get to live to be 53 and I had to suffer all these things, and she didn't even make it to her 30th birthday? How does that make sense? Do I ask God this question and say, is that fair? Is that right? God has given me the answers that I need to deal with life on a daily basis. As far as me, being faithful or unfaithful, or, mocking death or not mocking death, whatever. I have my sins, I have my problems, and that's a personal. Like I've said this for a long time, repeating the same philosophy as my mother, that the relationship you have with God is a personal thing. It is personal because of the individual. Each individual has a different path, a different history, different parents, different educations, and that only God knows all those details. So you can't compare every single person and say that every single person has to act the same way just because the book says, that all of our toiletries are the same. Everybody goes to the toilet differently, okay? Even though we all have to go to the toilet. Anyway, um I wanted to talk about my personal goals and why I am doing whatever I'm doing at this time. Why am I not at the beach wearing a bathing suit? I'm retired. I could go to the beach and just hang out. I mean, why am I wearing these glasses? Why am I still hooked on the internet? Why don't I go out and enjoy nature and retirement? I mean, it's Florida. Oh my God, beautiful palm trees, beautiful weather. What's wrong with me? Nothing. There's nothing wrong with me, okay? I am not addicted to the internet. I am I was born in the house of money, okay? As a Taurus and as Shannon. My family had money. Not We weren't the richest people in the world, but we never were without money. We always were hard workers who had money. And I was a very sheltered person. My mother was Catholic. My grandmother was Catholic, and they were very protective women of me. They loved me dearly, and they didn't want to see me hurt. They wanted to see me, graduate high school and get to live an adult life that maybe I could have. They hoped that maybe I could have done better than they did. Now my mother was able to do that. She was able to live a life that was better than my grandmother's life. But I don't know if I did that. I mean, I have some issues, and that's why I think I'm still here, even though there have been many enemies and many uh, things against me. I think the reason I'm still here is because I don't know if I can say I've done better than my mother. I don't think I can say that. I have had some successes in areas that maybe she didn't, but I have had more failures, I think, than she did. So this is probably why I'm still here. Now, I'm just saying, if somebody passes away who's, in our opinion, too young to pass away, it's probably because they passed. I mean, when we say passed away, they passed. It means they have already faced and accomplished and gotten past every challenge that particular soul's journey in that particular life as that person could pass. They passed. There's nothing else for them to do here. There's no mission, there's no goal, there's nothing. I thought that had happened to me. I felt that way back in 2016, 2017. I was like, what else is there? I especially when it seemed like life was trying to take George away from me. I mean, I was like, well, if I don't have my marriage, what else can I possibly do? I did the college thing. I did the business thing. I did the job thing. I did the travel thing. I did the daughter thing. I did What else is there to do? I did the wife thing. I couldn't think of like what next. They talk about Madonna and how through the years she had to constantly reinvent herself. She had to come up with a new style and a new sound and a new fashion just to keep rolling with the trends and the changes in the industry. But it's like that in life. It's not just a professional thing that we go through. This is something that happens to us in life too. Like, you, I've said this before. You don't get married with an intention to get divorced. Oh, you just say, you know what? I'm going to get married, and then 2 years later, I'm going to get divorced. Who plans that? Nobody plans that. And you get married, and you think, well, hopefully this will last forever, and then sometimes it doesn't. And and you're sitting there scratching your head, going, "What happened? What went wrong?" You know. And then sometimes you go to college and people are mocking you, saying, what's the point of that? You're just going to have student loans, and you're never going to be able to pay them off. And you know why are you bothering? You could just go to the library and read a book. And you still say, well, I think it's a worthy endeavor, and I want to be, a little bit more educated than I am, and I think that there's value in those teachers and that institution, and I'm going to go with it. And then you graduate. If you do everything you're supposed to do, you graduate, whatever it is, whatever institution, high school, college, master's degree, whatever. You graduate, and maybe things don't go the way you wanted to. Maybe it was the wrong degree or the wrong career. That happened to me. I chose wrong. I was not supposed to be a teacher. I am not supposed to be a preacher or a teacher. I'm a writer and I'm an artist. I'm not, and there's no need for a degree. Maybe I majored in English, which is the only degree that coincides with my writing talent. But there's only so much you can learn. I mean, after you know the mechanics, grammar, spelling, and you know the tools of the trade for when you don't know the grammar or the spelling, when you know, okay, I don't know this, but you know where to look. Once you know that, you pretty much know. And now they have these programs, these robots that do everything for you, spell check, Grammarly, etc. So you don't even have to, if you really want it to be, polished like that. But I kept saying style is a different thing. Sometimes the grammar is improperly written for a stylistic for a stylistic approach, for a voice that is meant to be heard with those errors. But anyway, I'm not going to talk about that. That's English teacher drunken white stuff, and I'm not. This is not what this video vlog is about. This video vlog is about society and life. Okay. Recently, in the past 2 and 3 years, a lot of things have happened in my life. Happened to me personally. Physically, I have gone through many challenges, but I don't have this documented. You see, even though I've been to the emergency room, I've been to the psych ward, I've seen emergency medical people. I don't have anything documented with a regular doctor, because even though the last 2 years I had full medical coverage through Medicare and United Healthcare, I still didn't have a doctor. And I make jokes about it now because I'm upset, because it was like that. You had to have an appointment to make an appointment to make an appointment. And then every time you made an appointment, the appointment was canceled, or something happened and you couldn't get to the appointment. And if you did get to the appointment, they didn't want to see you about your knee or your back or your neck pain. They wanted to ask you if you were crazy or not. And then if you I mean, it was getting ridiculous. Then I went to an emergency room, and people say they have trust issues with the police because of police brutality. Well, I have trust issues with the doctors just as well as the police. Okay, yes, there are bad people in these positions. We can't just say, well, because you're wearing a police uniform or because you're wearing a doctor's coat, that you're trustworthy. It doesn't mean anything. And just because they may or may not even have the education that you think they have. We don't know who they are. Just because they put on the right clothes doesn't make them trustworthy. And I know this now because I have been hurt by the people that are supposed to be trusted. And that's what they mean by there's good and bad people in every walk of life. You can take, the scum of the earth. You name somebody who you think is just awful, a felon or a criminal or whatever. Just take the most awful thing you could think of, and you might find an angel in disguise. And you could take the person who's supposed to be the most upright, a cop, a doctor, someone we're supposed to trust with our lives, even a teacher, and they could be completely corrupt. You never know what you're going to get. I don't mean to quote Forrest Gump here about the box of chocolates, but you don't. And this is the surprise of life that beats the crap out of our brains because we want things to be simple. We want the cop to be good. We want the teacher to have our best interests at heart. But it's not always like that. We want the bad guy to really be a bad guy, but he's not. He's just a human, and he might be walking a path of righteousness. We want, if we don't have food and we say, "Hey, can I have some food stamps?" We want them to say yes just because we're hungry, but they don't, because they fill out all this red tape and then they say, "Well, the situation looks like this and you don't qualify." But you still look at your cupboards and you know you don't have any food there. And you go, "Huh?" This is what I mean. See, life is not simple. I used to listen to that song, Simple Man. He wanted his or she, was it the mother who asked the son to be a simple man? Yeah, it sounds great, right? You have a simple mind. You think, basically, these are glasses, these are my hands, everything is what it is. But it isn't what it is. It isn't. It's not simple. There's nothing simple about the world today. Where there's technology, there's politics, religion, there's all kinds of sexual thoughts. There's, age requirements, red tape requirements, insurance requirements, legal requirements. There's education, there's experience, it's confusing. It's very, very confusing. And all the while we're juggling all these ideologies, we're just trying to live. And if someone says to you, "Well, why aren't you enjoying summer? Why aren't you at the beach?" I'm lucky I made it to the toilet today. My knees hurt, my neck hurts, nobody cares. I don't have someone massaging me. I still have dishes to do. I still have laundry to do. I'm worried about my car. I spent $3,000, $2,000 to buy the car, another 1,000 to make it legit, and it's stuck on the car with a broken whatever, the steering thing. The battery's shot. I'm gonna end up spending another $400 or $500. The blue book value isn't even close to 3,500, but I still have to pay my insurance come the 17th. Do you see what I'm saying here? This is life. And you think that life, when they say, "Well, life didn't promise to be fair." No, life didn't promise to be fair. And I got really upset by that because, part of life is the fact that we have to accept how to live in society. And this is all society. You want to go live in the woods somewhere or off the grid somewhere so nobody knows your name. You don't have a name. You don't have a social security number. You don't have an identity that has to follow the rules anymore. Go ahead. What are you going to need in the woods? You're going to still need shelter. You're going to still need food. But instead of being rejected by the food stamps office or rejected because they don't want you to work at Taco Bell because you can't stand for 8 hours, instead of that, you're going to be in the woods with a bow and arrow, hoping and praying that you catch a squirrel. And what if you don't catch that squirrel? You're going to go hungry. So it doesn't matter. Every solution comes with a new problem. Every problem does have a solution. And that's as fair as it gets.